Hello everybody and welcome to the first episode of Skycast, the new podcast here in Empuriabrava, in which we'll be talking about everything that is Empuriabrava, everything that is skydiving. And as our first guest, we have here Richie Pym, who is operations manager and chief instructor of Skydive Empuriabrava. And we'll be talking a little bit about everything that's behind the tip, below the tip of the iceberg of the running of such a big drop zone. So, Richie, first of all, thank you very much for joining us.
My pleasure. It's great to be here.
I'm going to start a little bit. You started out, as skydiving, and you fell in love with it, and then you opened a drop zone. So that's where your drop zone management started.
Yeah, exactly. I started skydiving in 1987, a long time ago. 21 years old, but then with 24 I was so in love with the sport, and I'd already done a bit less than 2,000 jumps in 4 years, and at those times was quite a lot, and I found a few mates and we bought an aeroplane and we started a drop zone.
So there you started kind of getting some experience and understanding how a drop zone works, correct?
Yeah. Well, I kind of got groomed a little bit by the guy that sold me the plane, Jim Cox, a really good friend. He's passed away, not from skydiving, but he's gone now. His wife is still alive, Faye Cox. If she sees this, hi. And he showed me how to open my mind and see the big picture and stay safe and keep everybody safe. And that's where I started to learn. That was in Townsville, North Queensland, in a place called Woodstock. So imagine.
And then life took a bunch of twists and turns, and you ended up in Skydive Empuriabrava as operations manager, chief instructor. This is a very big drop zone, a lot of planes, a lot of people, a lot of big events. What does this entail, like managing a drop zone like this? Can you tell us a little bit about what goes on beyond the surface to make everything work as it does?
Yeah, well, I guess the most important thing about making an operation be safe and flowing and all the rest of it is, first of all, be prepared, like anything you're going to do in life. Preparation for a big drop zone requires that you know what you've got tomorrow. You've got the tools to work with to make it work for tomorrow. So maybe it's a 60-way that's happening, got 3 aircraft. What time we're starting, have I got the pilots, have I got the infrastructure that's got around that? So there's many parts of that infrastructure. There's the aviation part of the infrastructure. There's the ground staff of the infrastructure, which is a massive part. There's the welcoming part, which is a reception that makes people be able to come. And then there's the actual skydivers themselves and all those people that make that happen in between. So you need all that. And then probably one of the most important things is have an idea what's going to happen tomorrow as far as weather's concerned, because that's our big one. Look at our day today. It's absolutely magnificent. We've had an awesome week. You could do anything. You can get back from anywhere. You can open anywhere. It's all easy going. But it's not always like that. So they're the difficult bits.
So effectively it's coordinating all the various pieces of the ground puzzle, the aircraft, checking the weather. So it's a very active, it's something that keeps changing. It's not something that you make a plan and that stays the plan, exactly. Right?
And of course, we check the forecast, and those meteorologists that said it's going to be great tomorrow, and then it's not, and then you make the plan B, C, D, E, F, and try and make it work. And I guess the whole biggest thing about being safe is knowing when to say no and knowing when to say stop. That's enough, and that comes with experience.
And that in general in skydiving, that's kind of an attitude that everybody from a student to a 30,000 jump skydiver to a drop zone manager has to know when to say,
exactly,
this is over the limit.
But I have to say, it's one of the things that I'm surprised about, even still now today. You can take any incident, accident that's happened in the last week, month, 10 years, 20 years, and say, why did that happen? Normally it's because someone didn't say no, or it's because they didn't take heed to a warning that was given in the past about this could happen, and not to take action about it. So yeah,
and I think that here in Skydive Empuriabrava, the safety is taken very, very seriously. There's everybody has experience, the crew has experience, and it's consistently throughout the day checking the winds. And how does that impact, I guess, the operation? Because, I mean...
Well, like, I like to say, like, let's go back 20, 30 years ago, we had almost no tools to work with. Watch the telly the night before, they say it's going to be sunny, okay, cool. Look up when you get to the drop zone, look at the windsock, and that's about all you had. And now, 30 years later, we've got everything. You know, we've got 3, 4 platforms at your hand. You can check winds at every altitude. You can, you got the aircraft itself has a GPS. It's telling you the winds on every jump. One of the safest days when you got going is when you've got 3 aircraft flying. There's a check on the aviation side of it, so aircraft checking the winds every 6 or 7 minutes or 5 minutes. You got people on the way down checking winds and visually checking from them. So almost every 2-3 minutes you've got a wind check and an operational check to say, okay, we can continue, or we should change the limit to the jump limit, even though a lot of people don't work with that in other countries. But here we like to work with that as a limitation of experience and what we got at the drop zone at the time. So that's why we have these limitations. Yeah.
Which actually is really, really helpful for people because, especially with low experience, if somebody tells you there's 11 knots, you don't really know what that...
I think it's a good thing, but then on the way we're babysitting the people, taking them to the plane, saying it'll be all right, you can go now. But having said that, we try to teach the people from A license onwards that they should, well, even from the beginning, that they have to say, well, that's not for me. I'm staying on the ground. You know, you yourself, an experienced skydiver and somebody that's quite precautious, let's say, or cautious. You know that you like, I don't like that cloud, I'm not going. Cool, it's good. The most important thing that you should know is that I'm going jumping because I want to know, I want to go, I'm ready to go, I have the equipment to go, and the conditions are for me.
And I think that again, like here, that's very, the safety of the attitude towards skydiving is very given also an example by all the very high experienced people who sometimes just say, you know what, I could, but I'm not going to because it's too much.
Here is crazy. I mean, we have so much experience here, so many guys. The other day we did a jump into Cala Cols, which is a magnificent spot. Absolutely, well, what would I could say, after 38 years and 20,000 jumps, one of my best skydives ever.
Oh, wow.
It was a fun jump. We did it as friends. In the plane, we were a group of people. We were only 14 of us. And there was about 280,000 jumps on board of experience. Oh, wow. And even one of those guys only had 700 jumps. So we had people with 30,000+ there and down to 700 jumps. So just what I'm trying to say there with a summary of that is that we have so much experience here that it's the top, it really is. For the place we're at, the people we have around here, and the atmosphere is just great. I mean, these birds flying around us already tonight, this afternoon, it's incredible.
And that I'm going to kind of hook into the Cala Cols because you jumped a flag, which is, aside from all your experience as a skydiver and all the things you do in this world on the ground and in the sky, you fly demo flags.
Yeah.
So what does that entail both from drop zone operations, because that opens a whole other array of things that you need to look into and take care of. So can you kind of tell us a little bit what goes into these specialty jumps?
I mean, there's flag jumps, which someone said I'm going to do a flag jump. Normally that's a 2 by 1 meter flag. Well, that for me is a little handkerchief, you know. It's still cool, it's good. But we're talking about flag jumps, which is what I consider a flag of a decent size that can be used in an exhibition style thing. It's 300 square meters, so around 20 by 15 square meters, so 300 square meters, that you can see from a good distance. It becomes difficult to jump with that. You need special equipment, you need to train for that. Being a tandem master is a good help for that, because you jump it as a tandem passenger before you open it, and then you open it and land it. It's a whole nother world. But it's a very beautiful world to actually be able to sell that demo, because it's not just about that you got paid for it. It's about that it's so wonderful to do those things, and it's an adrenaline rush like no tomorrow. Right? It's amazing. And then to land that thing where they ask you to, often in very strange places like Istanbul on a platform for Red Bull Air Race, for example, Turkmenistan for the president. for the Cup of America in Valencia. That's just to mention a few, and it's amazing.
But how does that work? Because I assume that there's a whole coordination also with the aircraft, or...
Yeah, so I mean in general, when we're using a drop zone to do these jumps, it's for training, because in general we don't do those jumps at a drop zone, it's at an exhibition. So when you go there, it's out of a helicopter or some other thing that's going to take us to altitude to be able to jump. But yeah, you have to consider a lot. Mainly is where you're going to be able to open. Demo jumps is always about timing, so you have to be in the air at 9:26, you jump at 9:27, on the ground at 9:29, you know, that's, and if you don't miss that, then you're done, out. So they're the most difficult things to manage. So be prepared, make sure everything is in order, have the most amount of information about the weather conditions, especially wind with the big flags, and have somewhere to land, and hopefully an out as well. Sometimes there is no out, and you just have to get in and go in situation. So, yeah.
But does your work as a drop zone manager help you kind of mentalize in the direction of having the correct organization for this?
Yeah, I think so. And having been a demo jumper and flag jumper and all of that stuff helps me be a good drop zone operator as well, because it's so critical, those things. And I mean, I started skydiving in '87 with round parachutes. I mean, that was a different story. People, we had a lot more accidents, incidents and fatalities back then. Now it's so safe. It's almost too safe in the sense that people take it for granted, the safety that we have every day, you know.
That makes sense.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think especially, like I remember at one point here in Empuria in spring, there were, I believe there was at the same time a 40-way, a 20-way, plus all the normal people. So I think in that context, being very safety aware, so people that come from the days of skydiving where you had to have more eyes.
Yeah.
That helps also managing those contexts,
no,
right?
Exactly. I mean, any operation like that that's big, you know, go to Thailand '99, I was involved in the 300-way attempt for Hercules.
Wow.
Okay, we're just doing that. But then you have an operation like we have here, and we decide, okay, during Easter Boogie and the normal operations, we're going to do 100 tandems a day, and we're going to do a 60-way event, and at the same time back it up with a 40-way group. And we need 3 aircraft that are going to fly together. The plan was 3 twin otter. That's easier to fly the same aircraft together, obviously. No, one twin otter couldn't make it, so we put a caravan in there. Pilots, and the big part of that whole thing, and the quality of pilot or their experience to be able to make that work and to fly in formation. The skydivers that can deal with it, the coordination, and then from our level as an operator and my team that I've got around me, and I cannot thank them enough, and it's great. I mean, the pilot team, which is run by Raymond, our ground team that I'm involved with all the guys that we have, and it's just an incredible, let's say a family, but a team of professionals that want to achieve the same goal, you know. And we're managed at the moment by Rainier Boss, and he's our old friend. He's my boss, and he's a dude that wants to go this way, and I'm behind him, and I believe in Skydive Empuriabrava. I mean, I moved from Australia, I put all my shit in a container and came this way because I believe it, and here I am. I've been here for 25 years, and I just came for a beer.
Yeah, but I think that you said something really important, that in the end, what we were saying in the beginning, that this is kind of what people see when they come here is the tip of an iceberg.
Yeah.
And behind it, there's a team that's very glued together, that works together, that everybody looks in the same direction, everybody fulfills their role. Yeah. And I guess they make this place the unbelievable place that it is.
I mean, I guess you could talk to any one of our staff and all people that are regular customers. They love it here, and we all came from somewhere, and hardly anyone was born here, and actually nobody was born here, and that's on our team, because it's a place to fall in love with, and it's such a dynamic of just where it is geographically speaking, the visual of it, but even more and more and more, it's the team and what we do here. Magnificent stuff.
And I think on this note, because we're almost out of time, I'm going to start closing. And first of all, thank you very much for being here with us today. and for making this place be what it is and allowing all of us to fall in love with it every single day.
Yeah.
So thank you very much, Richie.
Allegra, I'd like to say awesome,
Thank you.
awesome. I was a bit worried about coming sitting on your couch, but you know, this
Thank you.
And wonderful, awesome.
Thank you very much. And thank you, all of you who followed us, and stay tuned for the next episode very soon. So from Skydive Empuriabrava, that's all for today.
Rock and roll!